Hey guys, let's get more news about Steelers, but first, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a like. Steelers cut candidate seemingly calls out Pittsburgh for social media post. Happy belated birthday to Pittsburgh Steelers veteran kick returner and running back Cordarrelle Patterson, who has been the subject of cut speculation since the organization brought in a younger RB/returner in Kenneth Gainwell in free agency. Perhaps Patterson is feeling that the writing is on the wall as well, because he had a curious response to his team birthday shoutout on March 17. The Steelers' social media team posted a birthday graphic of Patterson on the franchise's Instagram story on Monday, rather than the page itself. For those that don't use Instagram, a story post disappears after 24 hours, while a normal post would remain on your page forever, unless it were deleted at a later date. In a story reply, which was captured and shared by Steelers Depot on X, Patterson wrote a message over his birthday shoutout, seemingly taking exception to the fact that it was sent out on Pittsburgh's story. Cordarrelle Patterson upset? Hashtag Steelers hashtag NFL Damn, I couldn't even get a post on the page in, expletive, LOL, Patterson commented on his personal Instagram story. Adding, y'all know something I don't know? With 4 crying laughing emojis. For reference, the Steelers do sometimes post birthday shoutouts on the Instagram page itself and have recently done so for longtime members of the organization like kicker Chris Boswell and head coach Mike Tomlin. Patterson didn't make the cut, and even if he's joking to some extent, that seemed to catch his attention enough for him to respond. Cordarrelle Patterson throws gasoline on the fire as birthday response angers Steelers fans. Steelers Nation already seems fed up with Patterson after a relatively ineffective campaign, and this birthday reply didn't help silence calls for him to be released. Main character syndrome. Why is he still on the roster anyway? One fan questioned. Another said, we should have let him go. Gainwell returns kicks. Jalen, Warren returns kicks. If it wasn't for Arthur Smith's love affair for this guy, he'd be gone. While a third simply reacted by predicting, you're cut buddy. And a fourth reminded that Patterson is a 34-year-old man responding like this. Go on and do great things. Cam Hayward happy for Najee Harris, feels like Chargers match made in heaven for him. After the Pittsburgh Steelers declined his 5th-year option last May, it was all but certain that the team and Najee Harris would part ways after the 2024 season. Though there was some hope at times that an extension could be worked out with the bruising running back, that ultimately wasn't meant to be. Harris signed a 1-year deal with the Los Angeles Chargers in free agency, giving Chargers head coach Jim Harbaugh the big, physical running back he's coveted. It also returns Harris home to the West Coast, where he could thrive in Chargers offensive coordinator Greg Roman's run-heavy scheme. On the latest episode of his Not Just Football with Cam Hayward podcast, Hayward said it's sad to see Harris go, but he believes his former teammate landed in a great spot. Man, I got a lot of respect for Najee. I think, he had 1,000 yards every year he was in the league. I think that is very underrated. And fans always wanted more but didn't understand the work Najee would put in, Hayward said, according to video via the show's YouTube page. One of the hardest workers. Sometimes you gotta protect him from himself, but when it came to ball, Naj was always locked in. Great person. The only thing I hate about talking about this stuff is we make it sound like a eulogy. It's not. The dude's still alive, he's still kicking, he's going to go on and do great things. It's just not with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I'm excited for him. I think he's gonna have a bright future there. He's already a West Coast guy, so I think it feels like a match made in heaven. The respect for Harris within the locker room was apparent throughout his Steelers tenure. He was a hard-working player who went about his business the right way. You never had to question his work ethic or commitment. Harris showed up consistently, and the 1,000-yard seasons 4 straight years might not mean what it once did, but it's still not something to gloss over considering he was the only running back in the NFL to do so during that span. While it was fair to want more out of Harris from an explosive play standpoint and a yards per carry average, especially considering he was a first-round draft pick, he always showed up, fought for every single blade of grass and had the most important ability for the Steelers, availability. It is tough that they lost him, especially on a one-year deal, but Harris lands in a good spot with the Chargers. He's back home and lands in an offense that has a good offensive line and a star quarterback as well, which could unlock another level to Harris's game. And even while Harris took a bit of a shot at the Steelers' facility and hinted at him being improperly used in Pittsburgh, there's no bad blood, only love for Harris and what he accomplished during his time in Pittsburgh. The Steelers will see him in 2025, too. Steelers meet with Jalen Milroe ahead of Alabama's Pro Day. While the Pittsburgh Steelers have been linked to some of the top quarterbacks in the 2025 NFL draft class, including a recent Mel Kiper Jr. video about both Shedeur Sanders and Jackson Dart going viral, the Pittsburgh Steelers spent their evening talking to a very unique signal caller in Alabama. That's right, as the NFL world trickles in to see all of Alabama's top prospects test at their pro day, the Steelers brass decided to take Jalen Milroe out to dinner, with Mike Tomlin, Omar Khan, and Tom Arth all using the opportunity to get to know the passer better. Former Alabama QB Jalen Milroe had dinner tonight in Tuscaloosa with Steelers coach Mike Tomlin, GM Omar Khan, and QB's coach Tom Arth ahead of his pro day, per source, Pellizzero wrote. Pittsburgh, which continues to explore all options at the QB position, owns the number 21 pick in April's draft. Widely expected to be drafted on day 2, maybe even as late as the 4th round by scouts and pundits alike, Milroe is one of the more interesting arms in the 2025 class, with the highest ceiling of any player due to his athleticism but question marks across the board that make his floor a real uncertainty. If the Steelers like what they see from Milroe, then who knows, maybe he could be their 3rd-round pick after trading away their 2nd for DK Metcalf, but that isn't a guarantee, as his question marks may give the team pause. Breaking down Milroe's game for NFL.com, Lance Zierlein explained what scouts like and don't like about the pass thrower out of Alabama. Milroe is an explosive athlete who is very capable outside the pocket, but he lacks accuracy, touch, and decision-making when he's inside the pocket. A lack of anticipation and timing leads to interceptions and contested throws to intermediate areas of the field. He has an NFL arm, but he might need to fine-tune his footwork and delivery to improve accuracy on all 3 levels. He can get through his reads when he's confident and feels protected but becomes predictable and easier for defenses to manipulate when he's rattled, Zierlein wrote. He's built like a will linebacker, runs like a receiver and is a threat to hit the home run on called runs and scrambles. Milroe was a much better deep ball passer in 2023, but his 2024 regression makes it harder to project success from the pocket at a high enough rate to become a capable NFL starter. A strong arm and elite speed will have teams intrigued, but if he doesn't make it as a starter, it's incumbent upon his team to find a way to get the ball in his hands with packaged plays. With athleticism comparable to players like Anthony Richardson and a game with similar questions, fans in Pittsburgh have to wonder if they have the infrastructure in place to get the most out of Milroe. If they do, he's absolutely worth a day 2 pick, but if they don't, bringing him to town could only waste even more time from a team that's been stuck in the mud for almost a decade. And you, fan? What do you think about Jalen Milroe's situation? Write to us in the comments.